on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding child pedophiles is disgusting. Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone and go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in FBI resources through my redeployment because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco need it.
Director, remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our...
Welcome to Liberty Report USA. Let's take a look at what happened in the Senate today.
Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for unanimous consent.
Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit two sets of documents. The first is a series of emails from the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. They are making FOIA requests to get their own FBI files and not having any success. So I want to bring attention to that by submitting that to the record. The second document that I want to submit to the record, for the record, I know we don't usually read these. This one's not readable. It's completely redacted. For the most part, the first 50 pages. This is actually the search warrant that was served on James O'Keefe for a diary that he had already given to the government 2 months before. And as it turns out, there were no indictments here, yet he still doesn't know why he was raided, and I think he deserves to know. So,
Without objection.
Thank you.
The chair now recognizes the gentleman from California.
Director, the first time you saw Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files. Did you close the files or keep reading?
I've reviewed not the entirety of the files, so I
So you haven't reviewed all of the Epstein files?
Personally, no.
You're the director of the FBI. This is the largest sex trafficking case the FBI has ever been a part of. Buck stops at the top, and your testimony today is you have not reviewed all the files.
What I've been doing is been busy providing the safest country this country has seen in modern U.S. history in historic speed because the men and women of the FBI are given the resources to reduce the homicide rate, to reduce the drug trafficking rate, to reduce the amount of children that are being trafficked and the number of...
It sounds like those children being trafficked would appreciate the director reviewing the files. You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name that we have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at least be 1,000 times?
We have released every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can characterize the numbers however you want it.
Claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times.
It's not. It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job to know the number?
My job is to provide for the safety and security of this country. My job is not to engage in political innuendo so you can go out to the sticks and get your 20-second hit in your fundraising article.
And
keep going, reclaiming your time, because the people of California are being underserved by your representation.
If the president is not implicated, why not release everything that involves him?
We have released everything, the president and anyone else's side, that is credible and lawfully be able to be released. Your fixation on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding child pedophiles is disgusting. Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone and go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in FBI resources through my redeployment because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco need it.
Director, remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the
It's a simple
Attorney's
question.
file.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F.
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your
Director,
constituency by focusing on reducing violent crime in this country and the number of pedophiles that are legally harbored in your sanctuary cities in California? I'll work with you on that.
Regular order, Mr.
Chairman.
Director,
I belong to the gentleman from California.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The question has been asked and answered.
You have not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt. Director, did Donald Trump ever say to you, just find and release the entire truth? Don't worry if I'm in it.
The instructions from the administration were to release all credible information, and we have done that.
Did Donald Trump ever provide information about Jeffrey Epstein as an informant?
Donald Trump has not been, and I can only speak for the FBI, an informant of the FBI.
So, Director, you've played this cute shell game where you say you can't release everything because the court has said that it legally is not allowed to be released, but the court calls bullshit. Judge Richard Berman said that when you went to the court, quote, information contained in the Epstein grand jury transcripts pales in comparison to Epstein investigation information and materials in the hands of the Department of Justice. So let's move on, Director. You wrote a book called Government Gangsters. You identified 20 individuals in that book. You put me on that list, at the top of the list. Thank you. My children find it flattering. 20 of those individuals have been investigated or have had adverse actions. Director, considering that you have identified these people as, quote, government gangsters, will you recuse yourself from making any investigation decisions about these individuals?
Anyone that has been terminated at the FBI has been done so
No, the
because
question
they failed
again,
to meet the muster in
Director,
their constitutional
I will
obligation.
work on the
No, no.
audio-visual capabilities.
I'm
of
going to
the rooms. I
borrow
don't
your
think you can hear me.
terminology and call
I'm reclaiming
bullshit
my
on your
time.
entire career in
I'm
Congress.
reclaiming my
It has
time,
been a
Director.
disgrace to the American
Director, I'm
people.
reclaiming my
You
time.
can reclaim your
Will you
time all you
recuse
want.
yourself?
Mr. Chairman, you're going to allow a witness to speak, Mr. Swank? Mr. Chairman,
Will you recuse yourself,
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, would you
Mr.
admonish the
Chairman,
witness not to insult members?
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman,
the
just
committee will remember.
quick point of order. Could the gentleman be extended an additional 20 seconds to complete his thoughts since the witness decided to interrupt him continuously?
And the witness will be able to respond if he wants. We'll make sure
Thank
he
you.
has time to do that.
My question
We'll
is,
continue.
will you, Director, recuse yourself, yes or no, from investigating or making decisions about the 60 individuals, including myself, that you identified as government gangsters? Yes or no?
Time of the gentleman has expired. The witness may respond if he would like.
And the answer was no, as I heard.
Correct.
Okay.
What you just witnessed was not a routine exchange inside the halls of Congress. It was something far more revealing, a rare moment when the polished veneer of institutional calm gives way and the raw friction of power is exposed in real time. It began as a simple inquiry, a question about documents, files, and the transparency of a system that insists it is acting in the public's best interest. But as the back and forth intensified, the hearing transformed into something closer to a battlefield. Not of weapons, but of accusations, evasions, personal insults, and the unmistakable sound of a government wrestling with its own credibility. It started with the submission of heavily redacted documents, pages blacked out to the point of unreadability. A reminder, subtle but unmistakable, of how often the American public is told to trust processes they are not allowed to see. And then came the turning point, a blunt question fired across the room. Director, the first time you saw Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files. Did you close the files or keep reading? What followed was a clash not just between two men, but between two competing visions of what accountability should look like in a republic that promises to be governed by the rule of law. On one side, Representative Swalwell pressing for clarity, for numbers, for names, for any admission that might reveal the truth he believes lies hidden in these sealed records. On the other side, Director Patel, deflecting, reframing, and insisting that the demands for specifics were nothing more than political theater, distractions from the broader mission of maintaining national safety. Accusations of secrecy collided with accusations of political opportunism. Each side insisted the other was acting in bad faith. Each claimed the moral high ground. As the exchange grew sharper, you could feel the temperature rise in the room. Questions became sharper, answers became shorter. Voices carried more weight, more edge, more frustration. It stopped sounding like an oversight hearing and began feeling like a revelation of how divided our institutions really are, how deeply mistrust has seeped into the foundation of American governance. Swalwell pressed the director about numbers, 10 times, 100, 500, trying to break through what he saw as deliberate vagueness. Patel pushed back just as hard, calling the line of questioning an attempt to manufacture a narrative. And in that moment, we saw something unmistakable. The widening gap between those demanding total transparency and those who believe the greatest threat to the system is political exploitation masquerading as scrutiny. This was not merely a disagreement about documents, it was a clash over who gets to define the truth. And then the confrontation took an even more personal turn. References to fundraising hits, jabs at representation, remarks about sanctuary cities. The kind of verbal shrapnel that leaves no doubt about how far tensions have escalated. The director's frustration, the congressman's persistence, the chairman's attempts to restore order, all of it merged into a single moment that captured the raw vulnerability of American institutions under pressure. By the time the questioning reached its final point about recusal, about alleged bias, about whether the director could be trusted to fairly oversee investigations into people he had once labeled government gangsters, the room had already erupted. What should have been a straightforward legal question instead became symbolic of how frayed the bonds of trust have become between elected officials and the agencies meant to operate independently from political influence. The director refused to recuse himself. The congressman insisted that refusal proved his bias. And in the final seconds, amid interruptions, objections, and procedural rulings, it became unmistakably clear. We were no longer watching a debate about files. We were watching the unraveling of civility between two branches of government that can no longer agree on the same set of facts. Moments like these reveal a deeper truth, one that cannot be redacted, concealed, or brushed aside. They show us a government struggling to balance transparency with secrecy, accountability with authority, and public trust with political pressure. They show us what happens when oversight becomes entangled with rivalry, when investigations turn personal, and when leaders confront one another not as colleagues, but as adversaries. And they force us, the citizens, to confront a question of our own. In a nation built on the promise of checks and balances, who watches the watchers? Who guarantees that truth is not just protected, but pursued? This hearing, with all its tension and turbulence, is more than a clash of personalities. It is a reminder that the future of American democracy depends on leaders who are willing to ask hard questions and on institutions strong enough to answer them honestly. The integrity of our system depends not just on documents being released, but on a culture of accountability where no one, no matter how powerful, is shielded from scrutiny. As the echoes of this confrontation fade, one thing remains clear. Sunlight is still the strongest disinfectant in a free society. And the American people deserve nothing less than full clarity from those entrusted with the power to investigate, prosecute, and protect. This is why Liberty Report USA exists, to break through the noise, to illuminate the truth, and to hold every branch of government accountable with unwavering resolve. If you believe in that mission, if you believe that transparency is not optional but essential, if you believe the American people deserve the full story, subscribe to Liberty Report USA, stand with us. Because the fight for truth is far from over.